you were describing yourself as an independent voice, an independent leader for Arizona who will listen to Arizonans. Can you, you haven't been elected, you never held elected office, you don't have votes. We could look at legislation you've introduced, but can you describe one issue, a policy difference you might have with Democrats that shows that independence?
Well, I think one issue that probably stands out is border security. Very critical to our state. I think we need to have a strong border. There's a lot of ways we can do that. Technology, being somebody who worked at NASA for 15 years, I think we could use, high-tech sensors and, other ways to provide good border security at the border. I'm not really in favor of a 17th century solution for a 21st century problem. Barriers and fencing makes sense in some areas. More border patrol on the border. I think we need more judges. We need to upgrade our ports of entry. So border security is incredibly important for me. And I think I probably differ from many Democrats in the United States Congress on that.
Well, I think when you look back over 10 years or 15 years of discussions of border security, what you've been talking about, technology, things like that, that's become a fairly mainstream position. I believe former Governor Janet Napolitano, a Democrat, advocated for it many years ago. She famously said, "Show me a 15-foot wall, I'll show you a 16-foot ladder," or a 50-foot wall and a 51-foot ladder. So is there anything aside from that that really clearly shows you being different from Democratic colleagues?
Well, so I'm committed to working across the aisle to try to solve some of these really hard problems. I'm convinced that no one party can fix some of these things we're dealing with right now. We've got a public health crisis that spurred an economic crisis. We're in a pretty significant recession right now, and these things have been made worse by a crisis of leadership. So I'm committed to working across the aisle, reaching across the aisle, building those relationships. And if an idea comes from a Republican member of the Senate, to me, if it's a good idea and it's good for Arizona, that's something I'll support.
Would you support one more dollar being spent on the president's border wall if you're elected to the Senate?
Well, like I said, barriers and fencing make sense in some areas. In some areas, they don't. So it depends specifically. Where are we talking and what is this going to look like? But in general, I think a 2,000-mile barrier at our southern border was not the smartest way to do this. I think in certain areas, it would have been better to apply different kinds of technology to give us something that works as well as a physical barrier.